A team spends 3 months building exactly what the customer requested. The feature ships on time. Adoption was phenomenal. Launch presentation success. And 6 weeks later, customers are still creating the same workarounds. Support is flooded with the same questions. And the outcome, we failed to reach it. How can a team build what the customer has asked for and still solve the wrong problem? Because a feature request is not necessarily the actual customer intent. One of the most expensive mistakes in product management is confusing the visible action inside the product with the outcome the customer is trying to create in the real world. Customer does not wake up wanting to complete your funnel, use your dashboard, talk to your chatbot, or increase some feature option metric. They want something to solve their problem so that they can continue on with their day. It can be the money reaching the destination safely, knowing whether the medical symptom needs an attention, knowing whether with the given data they can make a concrete business decision. The feature is just an implementation choice. The intended outcome is the unit of product value. Imagine an online shopping cart where a customer repeatedly abandons a purchase at the payments page. The funnel tells the team where the customer stopped, but it does not tell them why. A feature-first diagnosis might sound something like this. The form has too many fields. We should send a reminder notification. We should send a call to action that is very strong. Now, any one of these changes might increase completion, but that does not necessarily mean that the customer is struggling with the form. They may be unsure whether the product is right for them. Maybe they do not trust the refund policy. They might be comparing an annual commitment with a safer monthly option. Maybe they are waiting for someone else's approval. If uncertainty is the constraint, just reducing 2 form fields does not remove that important step. If trust is the constraint, a more aggressive call would actually make the experience worse. If organizational approval is the constraint, a reminder will simply tell the customer that this workflow does not exist in your product. The visible drop-off is awareness, but not the problem. When teams look at that data, they might describe customers as indecisive, resistant, high friction, or maybe unwilling. But customer behavior usually makes sense once the motivation is understood. A person repeatedly comparing plans may be protecting themselves from an irreversible choice. A buyer contacting support may not need new information. Maybe they are just testing. Will there be a human available if something goes wrong? A business user exporting the data to an Excel may not dislike your dashboard, but may need to use this as evidence in some meeting. Or maybe they need some approval or some custom calculation. A workaround is not merely bad behavior to eliminate, but a customer-built bridge across the product distance. So before removing the workaround, understand what is that friction or what is that gap between the intent and the outcome that it closes. Now, there's an easy way to move from behavior to intent. Just 3 asks. First, what changed in the customer's world that caused them to act now? The trigger matters. A person exploring insurance casually has a different intent from someone whose trip begins tomorrow. A manager browsing through analytics casually has a different intent from a person who's preparing a dashboard for board review. Second, what final state is the customer trying to reach? Don't describe the product action, describe the real world state. It's not, I want to submit an insurance claim, but rather, I want to recover financially. It's not, I want to generate a report, but I want to make a defensible decision and align my stakeholders. It's not book an appointment, it's rather, I want to receive an on-time appropriate care with confidence. Last and final ask. What uncertainty, effort, risk, or dependency prevents that state today. This is where the term product distance becomes diagnosable. The constraint might be discovery. Customer may not be finding the right path. It might be comprehension. They can't understand the options. It might be decision confidence, execution reliability, trust, or recovery. Only after the intended state and the distance are clear should the team debate features. So the next time you're reviewing something, instead of saying customers asked for a dashboard, ask what decision is the customer unable to make today that this feature will solve? What is the evidence that is missing? Instead of saying we need an AI assistant, ask what is the complex workflow that the AI will remove and what authority would it require? Instead of saying conversion is done, ask which part of the customer's path to a successful outcome has become harder, for whom and why. Instead of saying users are not adopting our self-service, ask what outcome does the channel provide that the self-service currently cannot. When you answer these questions, you produce entirely different strategies because they are not going feature first, they are going outcome first. So the practical rule is simple. Never accept a feature request as the problem statement. Translate it into 4 things. What is the customer trying to do? What is the distance that stands between them and that outcome? What constraints govern that distance? And then what is the smallest possible intervention or an experiment that can help us validate and achieve it? Feature-first teams optimize interactions inside the product, and intent-first teams optimize the customer's ability to reach a successful state. That is the difference between a feature-first product manager and an awesome product manager.